achievement. But we have our first bans locked on in. No Blaziken, no Leafeon for this match.
Already going with the Blaziken. Blaziken has been getting through a lot recently, a really, really large amount, but it has been the game winner so many times, including, of course, the first set that we saw today. That overheat was the big secure on what was, I don't want to call it a flip, but, you know, a really well-coordinated burn down of that Rayquaza. So immediately taking it off the bat. And another one, Umbreon. Umbreon has been banned so few times over the weekend, but again, a game changer. That doesn't mean that we're going to have a lot of big open options as far as, wait a minute. Is there really no second ban?
Yeah, they don't have a second ban there, but you know what? They're still going to be confident. They're going to lock in that Charizard. Urshifu, something that has come back, and you pair that with a Blissey. Lucapo, Yume, they are two good choices so far.
Yeah, I mean, these are a lot of really cool choices. This is one of the most interesting drafts I've seen so far. Obviously, no ban is super interesting. It doesn't seem like there's anything wrong with that. That must have been a choice. Maybe there's a lot of confidence there. I'm really curious. But on the other side, there's so many big meta choices that have gone through. Like you said, the Charizard, the Ceruledge is going through, and Slowbro, one of the Pokemon that's kind of fallen behind a little bit. And on this side, it's the Serena.
I just feel like we're getting all of these lockdown Pokemon in. The targeted Unite moves from Charizard and Slowbro. But you know what? Fennel are going to answer back with that Zarina. So if they're able to lock onto their prime target there, that could work in their favor. However, I mean, you're rocking the Cramorant shirt here today, Chef. So
I am.
We must be seeing a lot of Cramorant.
Oh, we've been seeing plenty of Cramorant. I didn't get Cramorant for a long time, then finally we get so much of it. But the final pick, actually, so many Pokemon I feel on the side of Fennel that have been really, I want to say, like meta innovations from Japan. Mamoswine we see now everywhere. We see a decent amount of Serena everywhere. The return of the Urshifu and how it's played, a lot of that coming from Japan. Now it's spread to other places, but overall this feels like a much less meta team than Issen Aumentos, which feels like the most meta team possible.
We actually got to see this yesterday, Chef. If you look at Mew's items, it has the experience share. So rather than giving the experience share to the Mamoswine, they're actually going to be double stacking. So going in with a little bit more punch, a little bit more fang, I guess.
Yeah, so this is really interesting. Now, in the last set, we got to see Gatlu in game number 1 play, again, the top hat stacking Mamoswine, which is, may I note, I play that a ton in ranked. It's super fun because Icicle Fang can basically one-shot people. It is so satisfying, but I thought it was more of a meme. Now we've seen two of the strongest teams, two of the top seeds that got to actually choose their opponents, choose that as an option, as a surprise in day number 2. So I'm very excited to see it. Obviously, support Mew as well. Very surprising, but we did get a chance to see that pop off yesterday.
You know who else is excited? These players, the big smiles on their faces. They have the trophies right next to them, but we are heading on into our first match. Issen and Aumento on your purple side, Fennel on the orange.
Oh, I'm very excited for this one. And again, the big potential upset is here. We have already seen some upsets. Of course, we got that little bit of a hint that Onyx Rise did beat Shin and Rode off broadcast, which is really wild up on the B stream. But we'll see if we can have another big upset involving APAC teams. Right now, that Charcadet just trying to defend here as the stacks are trying to go in. Ton is going to be able to, at the minimum, get, I believe, just one. And then we got one as well from the Blissey, or currently, Chansey.
Well, it's definitely important for Ton to get in these little dunks earlier on. Having that attack weight, but also having that Aeos cookie just to give it a little bit more bulk with that HP. But we have a Chansey just circling around, making sure to just replenish that HP. And we are going in for a dive. No, it looks like they're going to back on up, considering Ton is quite low here. However, Lucapo is lurking in the tall grass.
That was almost a little bit of a bait. It's like, hey, look at this, really low. You want to come forward and try to get a KO? It's like, there's nobody here to save me. But it does look like we're going to get the Rapid Strikes Urshifu. We've seen both across the weekend, but Rapid Strikes maybe getting a little bit more, and the big Icicle Fang, and that's going to be a first KO.
I actually really like the choice of this Rapid Strike Urshifu here, just to have a little bit more maneuverability, but also getting some self-shielding here, as they are going to try and take down Jetty on the Charcadet. Was able to grab both of those berries, but that means Fennel were able to get in some more dunks, and now they are at 51 points.
That's huge. Their stacks are starting to look very, very scary. And when we see that Mammoth really start to pop off, it is going to be a terror. But right now, we got to worry about the bottom path, not where Mammoth is. Right now, the terror is this Urshifu. The Urshifu comboed with the Zarina, being very, very aggressive, able to dive very deep. And then, of course, the range of that Mew. Great escape, by the way.
Yes, and that is the brilliance of coaching, just being able to latch onto an ally and get yourself out of the way in a flash. However, looking at the level, the more wild Pokemon to spawn before moving on forward.
Yeah, we can just even look at the levels right now, though, and the levels have gone so far in the favor of Fennel just because of how the early fights have gone, how much scoring's going in. Right now, we've got to see that Serena escape. Did get a little bit more survivability recently, if you haven't seen Serena in a while. Of course, we got to see a lot of it 2 worlds ago now. It's been a long time. Huge Hurricane, managed to pick up all of the neutral Pokemon plus 2 members of Fennel, but not enough to really make them fully win the situation. I think Issen Aumento realizes that they've got to play a little bit more passive, especially with how aggressive Fennel has been.
Well, considering they are behind in levels here, they have decided to leave their defender and support him down bottom as that basement Reggie spawns. Looks like Urshifu is going to solo up that Reggie Lecky up top lane, but 4 members of Issen and Aumento are here.
Ooh, big Electro Ball, and it looks like they will get the Regieleki as we're not looking at it, but another big Hurricane coming out from Issen Aumento. Some great hits there. We are going to see the Unite come from this arena to stop that Charizard, and now there's going to be very little defense on this gold zone. They can break it. They wait a little bit longer just to make sure that they get maximum overdunk from what they possibly could. 24 overdunk. They're ahead by almost 200 points.
Yeah, that's massive. Being able to take down both of those tier 1 goals. You do have Urshifu there soloing, however, they do have some eggs from the Blissey. Ends up getting chucked in the air by that Charizard, burnt on down. Looks like Ton is waiting for an opening here, whether they are going to try and target someone diving on in with an Earthquake to just take down that Charcadet, but they're going to use a Unite move to dive on Blissey. The Bliss assistance, unfortunately, was not able to save them.
Ooh, and this might be even one more KO. Tone is against a lot of members, jumping in to try and maybe facilitate the escape of Mashio if they need to, but wow, they're staying up for so long. That 1v4, I guess it was kind of a 2v4, was going a lot better than I thought it was going to, but those are some really huge picks, to be honest. And that's one thing that Fennel's got to be careful of, is the fact that they are ahead by quite a bit, but the enemy team has the ability to slow beam you, they have the ability to Charizard Unite you. There's so many different ways they can like kind of pick you up and then just say, okay, we're going to get 1 KO here, and even if we lose the fight, the kind of rubber band experience is going to help us out so much.
Yes, the benefit is they do have those Indeedis that spawn on the side, as we can see those yellow dots. So it's just a matter of trying to get the levels, trying to get that Charizard Unite move back online before these next objectives. However, we already have 3 double digits on the side of Fennel, and looking at the points difference at the halfway mark, it's 7 to 235.
Yes, that has only gotten worse over time. I mean, they got an extra 30 points since the last time we checked in with them. And only 7 means that any sort of stacking has just basically not happened for the side of Issen Aumento. Now, those look like they're going to be trying to focus down this Regieleki and try to maybe get some of the points in before they don't have any more opportunities to. Big defense force here, though. At least 3 members of Fennel. I don't know if they're going to be able to hold off against the entire team. Big Unite coming out from Charizard to kind of start that initiation, but Tone is just picking people up and slamming them down. Has to go out and pick up both the berries. But in the meantime, Mew's coming in. Mashio with the big Unite on top of everybody. And that's going to hurt them a lot alongside that Rapid Strike. Urshifu taking out every single member of Issen Aumento.
Holy moly, wow. We have Fennel going in, moving forward, taking all of that experience from Issen and Aumento as well, seeing if they can try and take away any of these buffs. Urshifu was able to take that blue buff away from them, so that is huge.
That was really, I feel like, the last chance for Issen Aumento to be able to try and fight in the final moments of this game on even footing. Now, I feel like there's basically no way, especially now, look at that, they're going to lose the basic Reggie as well freely. I don't actually know what's going on right there, trying to get any points in, just giving up that KO kind of for free, but this is going to be a huge lead going into the final stretch, which is still a good distance away, but there's just not going to be any time, there's not going to be any opportunities. They can try one more big push, maybe on 1 gold zone, try to take that down as we're hitting the final stretch, but this is tough. Issen Aumento, they've got to find their way back in.
I feel like Fennel have all of their bases covered here. You have Zarina lurking up in the top half, and the rest of them lurking in the tall grass, just not letting Issen and Aumento make any movement forward at all.
I know, they're a wall, honestly. Look at this, and this is quite a literal wall here with, well, I guess still figurative, but with Tone on this Mamoswine getting picked up, slammed down, taking a ton of damage, but look, it's not going down despite being focused solely. And like you said, the shields on the Rapid Strike Urshifu are so good because a lot of that healing can go towards having a top path brawler defender that can be the target of so much of the kind of, I don't know, the hatred of the enemy team. So it's kind of like giving you the ability to heal your entire team while focusing on only one. Same thing with a lot of the ability to heal yourself as Serena. There's just a lot of self-sustain.
Yes, it's a self-sustain, but also being able to get that shielding to just try and eliminate some of that hindrance coming from the opposite team. Zarina was able to solo down that Regieleki, and with 20 seconds left to go, it'll be really interesting to see whether Issen and Aumento are going to try and shred it down, considering Fennel are looking for some prime positioning.
This is looking very difficult. I mean, okay, they are going to be able to get down that Regieleki, but look at how far forward Fennel is sitting. They've got to be so scared. I mean, one person walks into that Mamoswine in the tall grass, and it could be over instantly. The burst damage from this team could be ridiculous. They are covering all of their bases, but they did choose a really great direction to enter. This is one of the safest directions that Issen could have chosen. However, Rayquaza is starting to get burned down. It's starting to get a little bit scary. They are going to find P in just the tall grass. They will know at least one person's out of position.
Look, the benefit for Fennel is they have those 2 tier 1 pads that they can easily retreat back into. Mew just poking in from the back line with those solar beams. A little amnesia there from you just to take that boosted attack, circling around, waiting for the perfect opportunity to try and make a dive and get a pick. However, all of the Unite moves are still online here, Chef.
Yeah, this is really nice, like, confidence, I think, from Issen and Aumento. They know that they have to find an unfair fight in their advantage. Otherwise, they are going to lose because they're down by a lot right now. Lot. And now they're really circling all the way around, and it looks like Tone was trying to maybe start the initiation, but the slow beam going in on the Mew, can there be a follow-up? It doesn't look like there's all that much. The Revenant Ren going through, but the big shield from the Bliss Assistance is going to stop that. One member's going down, though, immediately. The Serena trading for the slow bro. I feel like it's a good trade for Issen and Aumento, but they're going to lose another and another. And only Sense is going to be trying to run away along with Dreamt, and they are not going to be able to find that escape, at least on the Charizard. 4 KO streak for Lucapo, playing Lucario 2.0, basically. Dreamt, the last one up, getting hit by the Egg Bomb. There's no escape. That's going to be a KO. 30 seconds left. I don't even know if most people will be back in the game.
Lucapo just popping on off there, and you've got to give credit to that Blissey to just chasing on down, providing those eggs. They don't even need the Rayquaza here. Instead, they're just going to dunk in these points as much as they can. And this is the strength of Fennel. And I'd say probably why they were so high ranked on Zoinks' power rankings.
The Zoinks' power rankings and the rest of the world's power rankings. A very dominant first game. I will give it to Issen and Aumento. I felt like they played that last moment, like the final. Let's see the slow bro ban. Very interesting. We've seen a lot more priority, I think, on the Umbreon recently, but slow bro doing well in the last game and now getting banned.
I guess you just do not want to risk getting caught out by that slow beam on one of your main carries there. However, it looks like Lucapo's Urshifu has been banned by Issen and Aumento along with that Blaziken.
I love that choice. I mean, Lucapo was doing, that was almost all 5 KOs. They got 4 KOs in that fight, and they had multiple team wipes before that. So I think you just get that out of there. The Rapid Striker shoot was looking so good. On the other side, though, it looks like Fennel will be taking the early Leafeon, and then Umbreon on the other side. So just taking the early evolutions, going to be some early aggression, I'd assume.
Ooh, but locking in the defender and the supporter here. So prioritizing that, leaving those damage dealers until a little bit later. So whether we'll end up getting some surprises here. Ooh, we get a Comfey. I feel like this is a very fitting considering our location in Hawaii at Worlds.
It is. We've seen Comfey work very well and also extremely not well so far this tournament. Comfey's in a really weird spot. And as usual, a lot of it is based on what you can actually put it on. So I'm curious what they're going to be putting it on. Putting it on something like the Leafeon is a little bit squishy. The Serral Edge, though, could be very scary. On the other side, though, we see the Mimikyu, which Fennel has been banning in most of their games. Is that a hard... No, that wasn't locked in yet. I know Doomsnax is going to be very excited if this is something we end up seeing, but we do have the little mischievous support, quote-unquote, being highlighted.
Do we actually get a Sableye this round? That would be absolutely insane. We
Oh,
do
what
get
is
the
this comp?
Sableye. Let's
What
go!
is this comp? Okay, there's a very shiny man right off camera that just put his arms out like, what is this? The shiniest man we know, Zoinks. This comp, there's double speedster, double support, kind of, but both weird supports, right? Not typical. And then Ceruledge, which is just Ceruledge. And on Lucapo, I feel like it's going to be absolutely terrifying. On the other side, interesting, we do get the Pikachu. We didn't get a chance to talk about the Buzzwole, which is a lot of really cool picks on their side as well. But the strategy, I'm so curious what Fennel is up to.
I'm really curious as well. It looks like, are they going for more of a scoring comp here? Obviously, Sableye and Dodrio are known for that. And considering Issen and Aumento have gone in for a little bit more of a bulkier comp here, maybe they're not looking for those team fights, instead just trying to, I mean, it is a game to win off points, right? Not the amount of damage you deal.
True. Sometimes my Soul Cube teammates think that a little bit too true, but that is a very interesting comp. We also get, oh my goodness. Okay, so we get a little off-screen update from, again, our shiniest man, Talon defeating Nemesis. So the winner of this match will play against Talon. I feel like APAC doing an amazing job so far this weekend, but that does mean that NA is continuing to fall.
Yes, and that does mean, Talon continuing on through. So if Fennel do actually end up winning this match, they'll progress on through. However, if Issen or Aumento are able to take it, we'll get a round 3.
And just as a reminder, we're only missing a few of the very first round matches. Everything else today will be on broadcast, but we're certainly not missing this one for good reason, as we're going into game number 2 here of Fennel versus Issen Aumento, and this comp is blowing my mind already.
Are we going to see an invading Sableye here as they are shooting across in that top path?
I'm curious where every single person on this team is going to go as far as paths. I don't know what's going on at all anymore. I guess Sableye going into the enemy center area is probably the most obvious of all of them. It does look like taking the center is going to be Leafeon. Up top, it's going to be currently solo Charcadet, and then everybody else going down on bottom with the Doduo plus the Comfey. Pretty interesting way to split that. They could have obviously gone kind of anyone, anywhere with how weird this comp is.
I think that was a really great play there from Issen and Aumento to send that Mimikyu and that Chansey for the backup, knowing that they have a Sableye on their team. However, we already have 4 members down in that bottom path. Leafeon only taking the red buff and leaving the blue and the other 2 Voltoys behind to go and get some dunks and create some early pressure.
Good job from you to be able to escape out of that situation. Early aggression is certainly going to be the name of the game for Fennel and this comp. And there were 3 pretty scary Pokemon down on bottom, but they were able to get out of there. Umbreon, the fact that they got that quick Umbreon evolution is going to mean that they're going to be able to hold that bottom path a whole lot better. And the early game power, honestly, from the side of Issen Aumento is also strong. Buzzwole, pretty much off the bat, is going to be very scary. We are going to see the Ceruledge evolution, though. So all the power spikes you need have basically been hit already on the side of Fennel.
And there we go, a KO onto that Mimikyu, so they're not going to be able to get those buffs as the fight is going to continue up in that top half. Looks like Fennel are looking to try and dunk in some more points. Sableye dunking in 18. However, both the defender and supporter there are able to stop any further dunks rolling on through.
This is already looking, of course, quite good for Fennel, but how does Issen Aumento manage to hold on here? Not getting KO'd in their own center path. That, let me tell you, that is not the way, but that tri-attack is going to do a ton of damage to Ryu on that Umbreon, and they're going to have to back up, back to the healing of that Blissey. In the meantime, there's a solo Pikachu defending bottom, and that may be getting aggressed relatively soon. I think they're doing a good job of trying to keep somebody everywhere at all times to try to stop this super fast team, but being able to actually defend against it is another question, as we're going to see Jetty immediately getting burned down. 2 KOs up top. They're looking for the 3rd, but they are going to be able to get at least a ton of points in. They're going to set up for a huge overdunk, tries this off the score, doesn't quite get it, and then has to retreat.
Yeah, being able to leave that base on 5 points does have that potential for a major overdunk. However, we do have the objective spawning in about 25 seconds. It looks like Issen and Aumento have decided to abandon bottom base completely, considering it's broken.
I mean, eventually you're kind of going to have to abandon everything, but right now, big dunk coming in, almost able to get a KO, but they're going to be getting the KO on the Buzzwole. Dodrio will go down, and Lucapo going down. That's some really big, important KOs on the side of Issen Aumento. They are going to be getting a good amount of points in. Some were stopped, actually. Oh my goodness! What? Was that literally 3 KOs in 1 hit? That was ridiculous!
Q popping off. That was absolutely wild. A great Leafy on Unite move to just wipe them out, go and dunk in 40 points, and now they have the space to go and secure that Reggie Alecki. But we can also see on the minimap, Sarah Leach focusing on that basement Reggie, while Sableye is just doing what Sableye does best. Ton dunks in 29 into that bottom pad.
The funniest thing about this is how weird everybody playing every Pokemon on this team has switched roles. Like, it's just so bizarre. Like, Tone is playing support kind of here. We're seeing Machio playing like a speedster. Oh, okay. Unite coming out, but there's no chance to do any sort of damage inside of Issen Aumento. Hold on, they do manage to get the KO on the Dodrio finally. We're using that Unite to try and get a few more shields, but there's just too much going on here for Fennel. Leaving this goal zone at 1 as well. Okay, finally getting the overdone to 22, 348 points on their side. Another extra KO just for good measure on the Mimikyu. And we have over 5 minutes left. We are not even halfway done, and there is almost 350 points on board for one team.
Chef, I think we have already seen 3 Leafeon Unite moves. Leafeon is already at level 13, not even at that halfway mark. So they have both of those plus movements. Plus you pair it with that Pocket Comfey. It seems like they're absolutely unstoppable. They're going to have to try and target this down. I mean, the best maneuver here would be that Mimikyu Unite move.
I mean, there's a lot of solo control, crowd control on the side of Issen Aumento, but it seems like even when they're using it, they're not able to pick up a KO. That's a huge KO. I wonder how that happened. Pikachu getting 2 KOs. First of all, of course, you know, kind of on the same Pokemon, but at least they managed to pick that level 13. That's going to give them so much comeback experience. In fact, Pikachu now at level 12, able to really try and fight. Revenant Ren hitting the entire team. That is so many people, but there's not really that much of a follow-up. Lukupo trying to get some health back with the Bitter Blade. Not enough, getting KO'd as well. And they're pushing this down quite effectively. Unite coming out from the Buzzwole, going to KO the Dodrio. There's the Tall Grass with the from the Comfey, but it's not going to matter. That goal zone going down, and that is a lot of big KOs. The levels now, even aside from that Leafeon, the levels are looking even. The points are looking a lot less bad, but still relatively bad for Issen Aumento.
I think this team communication to just try and stick together and get these picks is working out for Issen Aumento. However, we do have Fennel locking in that Reggie Alecki. They are going in for the brawl. More Unite moves are being used on out as Buzzwole was able to grasp that Sarah Leach. However, they end up getting taken down one after the other, just like bowling pins.
Once again, Umbreon managing to get away. That's been, I mean, obviously kind of the target of a lot of the damage on the side of Fennel. It's been the only one that's lasted more than a few seconds in those longer team fights. But look at this. Look at the center goal zone for Issen Aumento. They're all there trying to defend against that one Reggie Alecki. They're like, we cannot let that happen. That is game over. And Tone did maybe manage to go in and maybe was able to get something, but they didn't get away. Maybe they just thought it was a little bit too much of a risk. We are going to get the Reggie Rock on bottom for free, though, for the side of Fennel. And we're still 1:30 away from final stretch. It feels like it's been going on forever.
I think what Ton is doing here is just trying to get some eyes on the opponents here, provide some vision, potentially get some picks, as we do have both of those attackers lurking on about. However, a great vault tackle to stun Sableye in its tracks, and they were able to eliminate that ward.
Lukupo sitting here with both buffs, just kind of waiting to see if there's anything left. There's a few little yellow dots. You can see some EXP that could be farmed in the Fennel side. Nothing too much in these summons. They actually are just starting to respawn as I say that, of course. So Lukupo going to be updating those buffs on their side. There's going to be one really well-timed Reggie Alecki, but you're going to have to burn it down a lot. I do feel like based on the comp and how they've been playing, Fennel could try to focus on that Reggie Alecki up top, or they could maybe just try to back cap, kind of like you know, I know. So right now what's happening, Issen Aumento is like, they're going to go for that because they're scoring. We can't let that happen. So now what's the response from Fennel?
Well, some dunks do end up going in. Ton getting the stun, stopping that Umbreon. And I think Issen Aumento circling around this Reggie Alecki, making sure that Fennel aren't able to get it, so it heads towards that their home base is a good move. But the thing is, because they've gone and done that, they've lost their positioning, which you can see Fennel on the minimap are trying to group together.
Look at this. Look at this. This is so sneaky. They're not maybe even going to go for Rayquaza. They might just go for the full back cap. Who needs a Hoopa to get the full back cap? This fight is going to happen in a weird place. If it does end up happening, they do manage to spot up He, at least as the first member. I don't know if they realize that everybody else is there. They see everybody jumping over. The vision is there for Fennel. They're in the home goal zone, capping so many points. And this is what Aumento has to see, that they have to know that they've got to go for the burn on Rayquaza. What else can they do? But they're losing the fight. 3v5. They do manage to get a KO on Tone. This is going to be at least nice for them, but their Pikachu was their highest level. They really wanted it for the fight. They're still, though, going to have to try to burn this down.
This is so risky because they don't really have the secure here. They're going to have to try and maybe rely on a Blissey Egg Bomb, as Surreal is lurking in the top part. They still have their Unite move. However, they do end up getting caught out by Umbreon. It is a little too late, but it doesn't matter because He was able to come in and get the secure for Fennel.
Not only did they get the back cap, they also managed to win the fight, and then they also managed to take the very awkward quote-unquote flip of that Rayquaza. I feel like any way that went, there was an option for Fennel. They did an amazing job, and this score lead, I think this may be another one of those matches where it could end up in the 4 digits. What a ridiculous game from a ridiculous comp from what is a ridiculous team.
Seems like they can just do anything at this point, and you know what? Why not have some fun with it? They are just catching these teams off guard. They aren't finished. They're gonna just continue to shred on down and see if they can try and get the highest points on the board at Worlds.
Oh, they're getting close. There we go. Broke the 4 digits, 1,068. I do think the previous record may actually be held by them as well, but they're going to continue to push it forward. I know we got to see, there was another team, it was Talon or something like that, get a ridiculous amount as well. Maybe it was Shinra Day, that's who it was. But it doesn't matter, the points are ridiculous. Fennel is ridiculous, and they're going to be winning and moving forward into the round of 8.
Yes, and you can hear the crowd cheering for them. I bet our fellow casters over there are also very excited as well, as they are clapping.
Yeah, I love the Japanese casters. Of course, there's a lot of different broadcasts, a lot of different languages. Love seeing all the Japanese broadcasters here, and they're always cheering for their own teams. Yeah, thumbs up over there to them. Yes. We're always really happy to see them, but they're really happy to see Fennel.